Hello and welcome. Today's episode is all about a new book that brings together storytelling about our planet, the press, and a whole lot of boredom. Cloudthief, written by Nathaniel. The review I'm basing this on comes from the New York Times, written by Peter C. Baker. Rich is best known for his climate writing. He published the speculative novel Odds Against Tomorrow in 2013, which imagined a catastrophic hurricane hitting New York City, and he followed that with the nonfiction work Losing Earth in 2019, detailing the moment humanity first saw the impact of its own destructive habits. Cloudthief is his fourth novel, and it feels like a natural step if you're familiar with his previous pieces because the protagonist mimics Rich's own voice. The main character, Tim, is a climate journalist who writes magazine articles that read a lot like Rich's real-world pieces. But unlike Rich, Tim hasn't won any prizes, hasn't Sedge? He's a freelance writer who's barely making ends meet. Peter C. Baker uses that contrast to show that Thomas's life cannot accommodate the new world undefined or defined by the gig economy, as Rich himself notes when he repeatedly says, "I can't afford to stop." In short, Tim works at a story where he's burning out. Gotch. The inciting incident comes on a casual walk that turns into an unexpected meeting with a woman named Virginia. Virginia, described as privacy-obsessed and alluring, proposes a scheme. Together they would steal servers from a data center and exploit the contained information for profit. Tim is instantly intrigued. This plan could rescue him from the ravages of the crumbling magazine industry. It might help him spin the whole ordeal into some great copy, and, as he jokes, maybe he'll get laid. From that seed point Rich spins a road trip thriller, mixing a heist climax with climatic scenes that feel like a miniature existential crisis. If you're used to Rich's nonfiction, you'll recognize the subtle references to climate change and digital surveillance that pepper the narrative. Baker even notes that the novel could stand on its own as a critique of contemporary society. Yet beneath the elements of data center espionage and the prospect of online privacy, the book really tackles Tim's malaise, a broader contemporary malaise that the author using him as a stand-in tries to explain. Tim's cellular frustration stems not just from the freelance press but from a larger question: what does he need? Glory, love, fulfillment? He drops a confession that others might recognize, a feeling that every night I went to bed and prayed I wouldn't wake up the next day that many of us feel. In summary, the review says Rich is especially good at snappy dialogue and .. His inventory of contemporary topicality that is carried through a heart-heavy character study. The novel bolds its last page, finishing as it builds with a strong recital of reality, a writer blackboxed by his own climate news. Baker's take on the book is that Tim's plan, essentially a hack of the cloud, is simultaneously a metaphor of the precarious life that new media, along with our digital worries, courses. In a nutshell, Cloudthief is a blend of thrill, a fight for a living, and a wake. It is striking that the same author Fiery Cried for Climate's Future wrote about a writer remaining young. Thanks for spending your evening with me. Tune in next week where we'll talk about the latest bestseller in speculative fiction, or if you're looking for more depth about climate journalism, feel free to dial into our next episode. Until then, keep reading, keep thinking, and keep streaming.